My name is Jochen Seitz. I'm the owner of Segera, the founder of the Seitz Foundation and of the Long Run. Well, the 4 Cs is really a holistic concept that looks at our planet in a way that brings people together and business, because essentially only if we can create win-win, I believe that we can actually save our planet and also improve the livelihoods of people. And so it's essentially a concept that consists of 4 Cs: conservation, community, culture and commerce. I developed the concept of the 4 Cs and looked at like-minded individuals that were thinking in a similar direction. We then together decided to become the founding members of Long Run Destinations, of the Long Run Alliance, which is now a global alliance of properties that are all operating in areas of high biodiversity and conservation value, and we are scaling this initiative to give private land conservation a voice.
In terms of conservation, over the last few years, we have witnessed an increase in the wildlife populations. I would attribute this to more security, and we've also created a habitat that is healthy for them. There is controlled grazing, which means there is enough food for them. You see a rise in some of the endangered species like grey zebras. The numbers are slowly rising, which shows that if you take care of something, it's going to grow.
That's the great thing about the 4 Cs. It's not a cookie-cutter approach. It's something that can apply to different places around the world in different ways. The concept and the approach is very similar, but how you then break it down locally, that very much requires the initiative of all of those who are managing their land accordingly. It's a global approach, but it requires local adaptation.
We cannot maintain that forest without involving the community around.
Kwa sababu venye tunaona Segera ni smart sana, inapendeza kwa sababu ni miti imetunzwa. Na pale tumepanda miti, hata tukipita tukiangalia hivi tunaona ni iko sawa kabisa, ni smart, hata macho inapenda.
Kwa sababu miti saa hii hata kama fenye iko kwa fence, sitakubali mtu akate. Ama nikute mtu anakata miti, nitamwambia ni mbaya. Na hata nafurahi sana kuonesha watoto wangu ile kazi tunafanya. Miti fenye inatoka nasare iende iwekwe mahali kwa bag, ndio ikue, ndio ifike hapo, utaitunza aje. Bado ninafurahi, hata watoto wangu wanafurahi. Unajua watu wanauliza, mama ile kazi mnafanya tutaona lini? Nasemanga tu mtaona siku moja.
We've basically had a peaceful coexistence. I would attribute this mostly to the model, the business model we've taken that is centered around the 4 C, which is culture, commerce, conservation and community. You realize even in our mantra the word community is already engraved in what we believe in.
Without community, you're not going to be successful. Essentially, wherever you operate, you are embedded in the community. Community is your employees, the people you work with. It's the people that are influenced by you, that live around you, that you influence through the work that you're doing. And essentially, when you employ people, it's about including those local communities in your overall approach of the 4 Cs. So you cannot just come into a place and say, well, we are preserving the world and our land by putting a big fence around it. Essentially, the idea is to be inclusive and really create those win-wins for the communities that essentially need to benefit, from what we are doing in the Long Run Alliance around the world.
Without education, you cannot fit in a community. It is an opener to every avenue of life.
We are going to repeat that poem, recite that poem with the person who is seated next to you.
It's not education for employment, but education for self-reliance in various aspects.
On Segera, we are also believers in the holistic well-being of our employees. And as a pastime activity, we have a football team that is comprised of a few soccer players who are currently playing in the Laikipia County Football Kenya Federation League. Most of these are graduates from the Laikipia Unity Football Academy that was in place a few years to become professional soccer players at some point in life.
Kwetu kwa community, wamama wengi wako na watoto wadogo, nao watoto ni lazima uwashughulikie, ni lazima uwapeleke shule, so tukajipata wamama wengi wanashindwa kufika hapa kufanya kazi. Hapo ndio tulikuja na mawazo, tukasema tutaendelea sasa kusave pole pole ili tupate pesa za kujenga kindergarten ambao tulitangulia na kununua shamba, na pia kupitia wadhamini wetu ambao ni Segera tuliwaelezea hiyo maoni tuko nayo ya kwamba tungependa wakati wa mama wanakuja kufanya kazi wakuja na watoto waende pale kwa kindergarten waangaliwe hapo na sisi tuingie hapa tufanye kazi. Waliweza kutusapoti na pia kuendelea kuleta wadhamini ambao walikubali kutoa pesa za kuchangia ile kindergarten, na tunashukuru Mungu kwa umbali imefika, kindergarten imesimama.
I came here for the first time in 1989 and just fell in love with the diversity of Kenya and later the diversity of Africa as a continent as well, and decided that I wanted to become part of of Africa and make Africa my home.
On Segera, we do tourism business, but it is very much supplemented by cattle ranching, and we also use the cattle as a tool because they graze down the grass, which allows the small animals to graze better. They pick up the ticks, which are then spray raised, and that reduces the spread of disease both to the livestock and the wildlife, and there is a harmonious coexistence between the two.
Business cannot be sustainable if it just takes away from nature and if it just takes from people. To me, the definition of profit is a financial profit, it's a profit for society, it's a profit for nature. It can't be at the expense of any of the four C's, because business and commerce are the most powerful ways to actually solve problems and not just creating more problems.